to the sky, never let them blow. Only thought you should.
All right. What's good, everybody? What's happening? Welcome to the Artist Loft podcast. It's been a minute, man, since I've been on here. Let me, you know what I'm saying, do my due diligence and see if I can share this thing out, man. Hey, y'all do me a favor, man, and share this stream out, man. I'm gonna talk about some things tonight. That has to do, you know how we do on the podcast, man. We're talking about some art stuff. All things art here. We ain't talking about no religion, no politics, no nothing. This is all art, man. We're going to talk some creative stuff. Let me get this thing out. All right. So, what am I talking about tonight? My mind, man, let me tell y'all something. Lately, my mind has been just jacked up, right? Like it has been absolutely horrible. I've been forgetting stuff. I've been scatterbrained, all that. Like this is crazy. All right. So don't mind me if I blank out. Listen, I'm not going crazy. It's all good. I might be getting old. I don't know. But anyway, tonight we are going to talk about the creative process and the therapy of art. So first, let me tell y'all where this is coming from. So I was listening to the news the other day, as I do, and I heard a report about a study that a lady is doing at UAB, and she's doing a study on the effects of calligraphy as therapy. Now, if you don't know what calligraphy is, it's brush art, started over in China, you know, when you got the pen and you got to dip it in the ink and you got to make the strokes and all that good stuff. That's calligraphy, right? And so she's doing a study on how calligraphy can affect people's mental state and how it can be used for therapy. So first of all, this is not new. Let's just put that out there. This isn't new. Art has been used for therapy for years. There's plenty of studies on it. It's nothing new. But I was listening to her talk about it. And then even after that, I saw something on Facebook about another person that was using art for therapy also. I think she was a doctor or she might have just been a therapist or something. But she was using painting as therapy for her patients. And again, nothing new. This has been going on for years. So as I was listening to the radio broadcast and I was looking at that post on Facebook, two things stood out to me that kind of caught my attention. And it was both of them had removed some of the process of creating the art to try to make it easier on the people and was using it in that way. So for instance, the lady that was doing calligraphy, she wasn't using the pens with the ink and all that kind of stuff. She was just using pencil and paper, which it kind of takes away from it being calligraphy if it's just pencil and paper. But, you know, the overall idea is still there, so I get it. But here's the thing when it comes to art and when it comes to the creative process, period. And that is you can't skip the process. Whatever that process is and whatever the art form is, all of that is part of the art itself. So I think the lady, when it came to painting, she was using those canvases you can buy for like the sipping paints and stuff where you just got to paint inside the lines and all that. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we're talking about art as therapy, that whole process of somebody having to come up with something in their mind and then put that on a canvas, all of that is the process. And it's that process that can be very therapeutic. So, to use myself as an example, so if you don't know, I'm a videographer, a filmmaker, and all that, photographer. So I use cameras. And what I found what was happening was with my main camera that I use is a cinema camera. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but it requires me to do a lot before I can even start shooting. I've got to rig it up. It's nothing automatic about it. So I've got to make sure all the settings are good and all of that. I am an impatient person. And so for me, I said, you know what? I want a camera that doesn't require all that. Still give me good results, good quality, but I want an easier camera so I can circumvent all this other stuff that I got to do sometimes. I don't want to have to do all of this. So I went out and I got another camera, and I realized that in doing so, creating it didn't mean the same. It Because I wasn't going through the process. I got to the point where I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to pick up any camera. It was just a mundane thing. I would go someplace, throw the camera on a tripod, shoot something, and go home. There was no excitement about it anymore. And I realized that by removing some of the process of creating the art is what was causing me to feel that way. So I ended up getting rid of that other camera, and now I just use my main camera, which again is fine, but it requires me to do a lot. And that tediousness of doing that is actually therapeutic. It's the whole thing of creating the art or getting to the point to where you can even create the art and makes it therapeutic. So the lady at UAB that was doing the study with the calligraphy, by only allowing the people or getting them to use a pencil and paper, like I get the idea of wanting it to be easier for people, but when you start to remove the process of creating, and anybody that's a creative knows what I'm talking about. You know about the process that you have to go through in order to create the art, and you understand that process is part of it. It's part of what makes it fun, what makes it exciting for us to do. So I think by her doing that, she's removing a layer that could be more beneficial to the people that she's doing the study on. And again, this is not new. Art has been used for years with autistic kids, and we've found out that a lot of these kids with autism, when it comes down to creating, they're awesome. It unlocks a certain part of the brain. I remember watching a documentary about a kid. He had autism. Well, he has autism, and he doesn't communicate. Like he doesn't talk much. And one day, his mother bought him an art set, and he went wild with it. He went wild with it, and so she started buying him canvases and more paints and all of that. And the art that he was creating became his way of communicating. So she figured out that if he was having a bad day, then literally in his artwork, he was using darker colors. Or if he was having a good day and seemed more happy, then the art that he was creating, he was using brighter colors. And it's things like that, man. This was a kid who, and I think he was like 12 or 13 when she bought him the art set. But up until then, he hadn't really communicated or anything. So by putting an art set in front of him, it unlocked something. I don't know what. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I don't know what it does. But again, anybody that's creative, anybody that's an artist, knows what I'm talking about when we start creating. And so, what I wanted to do tonight is I wanted to give people, whether you're an artist or not, whether you're creative or not, I'm going to give you some ways to use art to help you out in your everyday life. Um, and trust me, again, even if you feel you're not a creative person, you can just try this stuff. Okay, just try it. All right, it's trust me, it'll help you. So now, first, for my people who are artists and who are creatives, all right, when you find yourself at a point to where you feel like you have, creator's block or whatever, there's a couple things you need to do. First, you need to make sure that you haven't cut out any processes um, when you're creating, right? So whatever, and I don't know, whatever it is that you do, whatever art form that you take, whatever your process is for doing or creating that art, you need to make sure that you have not cut out the processes of the art. Okay, that's the main thing. The other thing is try to get around other creative people. Now, if you're married, that could be your spouse. Maybe I was lucky enough um, to have a wife that was just as creative, or really more creative than I was, and so we fed off of that with each other. So if I ever got to a point to where she noticed I hadn't picked up my camera and I hadn't done any shooting, and nothing was really going on, she would, hey, what's going on? You ain't doing nothing. Come on, let's go. Let's go take some pictures. Let's go shoot a video or something. And the same thing to her when it came to her painting. Hey, babe, you ain't did no painting. What's happening? Come on, let's go so you can paint or do something. So we were able to feed off of each other. So if you're lucky enough to have that, cool. If not, if you're single or your spouse just happens to not be a creative, which is fine, try to find a creative community that you can get with. Um, I know at one time there was a local photographer here that used to do photo walks, and the one thing about these photo walks that I noticed is that, so this particular person, has a certain political view, and I'm not going to get into all of the details of it, but he had a specific political view that a lot of people didn't agree with, and on the surface and just on social media, people would disagree with him. They would argue with him. They would call him names, all this good stuff. But when he had these photo walks, all of these people who were also creative would show up, because art transcends all of that other nonsense. It transcends the politics. It transcends the religion. And when you get a bunch of people that are gathered together just for the sake of art, man, it's something special and it's really dope. So try and find a creative community that you can get around. Okay, trust me, it's gonna help you get past that notch of creative block, or it may not even be creative block. It may just be you're just not inspired to create, and that's fine. I get like that sometimes, and I'll jump on YouTube and watch certain creators to try to grab inspiration or whatever it takes. Just try to make sure that you stay around other people who are just as creative and artistic. Excuse me. Um, Now, for those of you who don't feel like you are an artist or don't feel like you're creative, um, I got some things for you to try too. And you might not want to, you might not be that interested in art, but let me tell you something. Um, I think art takes on a lot of forms that people don't even understand, right? So I'm sure for most people there's something in your life that can be considered art. So you can either find that, but for those of you who just don't, I want you to try some things. All right. I want you to go to the dollar store, go to the Dollar Tree, and the Dollar Tree has these little small canvases, right? I want you to get one of those. They also have, little cheap paint brushes, and they do sell acrylic paint. I want you to go and spend about $6 or $7 and get you a canvas, a couple of paint brushes, and 3 or 4 colors of paint. Okay, and I want you to go home and paint something. And listen, I know you may not be interested in it, but I want you to paint something. But I want you to look up first how you paint with acrylic paints. If you need to mix it, if you need whatever you need to do um, for certain type of painting, I want you to do that. And I want you to, while you're doing that, to only be focused on the process of getting up to before you actually put paint on the canvas. So, you know, putting the canvas on your table or easel or whatever you've got, opening up the paint, putting the paint on a paper plate or something and different to use it as a palette. So you can put your red and your black and your blue or whatever colors you choose. I want you to concentrate on all of that. Drown out everything else and just concentrate on that. Take your brush, dip it in one of the colors or dip it in two of the colors, mix it, whatever, and then start painting. And while you're doing this, listen, you can have some music playing. I used to when I was painting, um, I started painting as another form to relax because I'm not a painter. Um, it wasn't even really a hobby. It was something that I was doing because it helped me relax. In that process, I would turn on my jazz music, man, and get my paint mixed up and I would paint. And my painting sucked. They did. They I think at one time I had painted like 50 paintings. And out of those paintings, probably I would say 5 of them I really liked. For the most part, they sucked. But just the process of doing it was just relaxing. I used to watch my wife when she would do it, and it was like nothing else mattered around her when she got into that place. It didn't matter. And I can remember watching her and looking at her face, and it was just, she was so relaxed and so peaceful. And even when she got done, like her whole mood was just so somber and just relaxed. And I was like, yo, I need that. Because quite honestly, when it comes to filming, a lot of the filming that I'm doing is for work, is for my business. And I'm filming for a business or for a client. And a lot of times I don't have complete creative freedom in what I'm doing. The company might have certain specs they want it to look a certain way or whatever, whoever the client is. And so I can give input, but I don't have that much creative freedom. And there's a difference between doing that and then when I do a passion project, a short film or a skit or something like that I'm filming of something that I wrote, then it's a different story. That is more therapeutic for me, but a lot of times I don't often get the chance to do that as much as I want to. So I'm stuck a lot of times in doing it for work, which you got to make some money and all that good stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I believe as creatives, if we if if our art is also a business, then we have to make sure that we're balancing that out. So for me, I do things for companies. I also have a YouTube channel and all that good stuff that I post videos on. And there are certain videos that get more views than others on YouTube. Um, so videos where I'm talking about cameras, or I'm doing a tutorial on color grading or how to use a specific camera. For my niche, people tend to watch those videos more than the videos that if I just do a project where I'm just talking about my life, whether it's a vlog or just something. Those videos don't get a lot of views. And that's okay. I understand that in the niche that I'm in and the type of art that I create, the people that watch me are watching for a certain thing, and I'm okay for that. But I have to make sure that I'm balancing it out. So what I try to do is I'll do a video for the algorithm and a video for me, a video for the algorithm, a video for me. And so I'll try to balance that out. So I make sure that I'm doing something not just so I can please the algorithm gods, but something that I just wanted to do. That something dropped and I was like, yo, I want to shoot this. I want to do it. Boom, let's get it done. And so I think as creatives, we have to find that balance. We have to be able to walk that line between running our businesses as well as uh, just being creative and having some sort of creative freedom, because we need that part of it in our life. We need that therapy. Remember, this is all about protecting not only just our mental health, but there are cases where art has been used in physical therapy also. So somebody that has real bad arthritis in their hand, um, therapists using painting, or in some cases like calligraphy. Um, so people have to grab things and all of that good stuff. So man, art is powerful. And sometimes I don't think people realize how powerful it is. Um, and it's a great tool to be able to uh, to use, and not just if you're a therapist for your patients, but also if you're just an artist or a creative in general, being able to do that. Listen, if you're a TikTok person and you just like to create content, man, listen, concentrate on the content that you're making. Like, don't just turn on your camera and start doing some stuff that you can just post on TikTok. I'm telling you, actually focus on what it is you're doing. That whole process when you grab your phone and you set it on your tripod and get it all set up to shoot your video. Excuse me. Like, really focus in on that, and you'll be surprised of what it does for you. You'll be surprised how it doesn't matter what kind of day you've had. That type of stuff, man, is just it trust me, it unlocks something. I remember my wife would come home from work sometimes, and listen, this is how I could always tell if she had sort of a rough day, because she would come in, speak, and then immediately go to her desk and start making some resin jewelry. Like, that was easy because it was at the house. The painting and all that took place at our studio. Um, but the resin jewelry she made here at the house. And I knew if I got off work after her or something and I got here and she wasn't downstairs, I knew she was upstairs, probably getting ready to make some resin jewelry. And I learned that meant she did not have that great a day. Now, me being the person that I am, listen, I'm a videographer, okay? I'm a videographer. So yes, there'd be a good chance I would stick a camera in her face. She understood that. Um, she got to the point to where she knew that there was a great chance that at some point a camera would be stuck in her face. But then there were some times I would just leave her alone and just let her go through that and just let her kind of vibe out with what she was doing. And after she got done, everything, like the whole mood in the house was just lighter. Like seriously, man, it's listen. I need y'all to really understand the power of art, man. And I'm not going to be in front of y'all much longer. All right, I know y'all got to get ready for these storms that's supposed to be coming through, and all of that. But um, the power of art and that power of going through the process of creating the art is the therapy. So although these two ladies that were doing these studies are on the right track, I believe where they're messing up at is by removing some of that process to try to make it easier. I mean, if you think about it, if you're going to marriage counseling and y'all go to a therapist, y'all been having problems or whatever, the therapist doesn't sit there and ask you all the easy questions. The therapist is like, hey, tell her what's happening, tell him what's going on, be honest, be for real, you got to answer the hard questions, but that's part of the process. And when you do that, you feel lighter, you got it off your chest, whatever you felt, whatever you had been holding in that you couldn't say before, you said it, and things are just lighter, you feel a little bit better, and everything is out on the table, and then you can deal with it from that point. Well, using art is the same thing. You don't want to remove the process just because it might be a little hard, it might be a little tedious, but that's all part of it. That's all part of what makes it special. That's what you know, for me, man, I think that's just the great thing about it. Again, I am an impatient person, and trust me, there are times when it takes me longer to get my camera set up, to get the lights set up. It can take me, 20, 25 minutes to 30 minutes sometimes just to get my camera set up. Then another, an hour trying to get the lighting to look right for a shoot that takes me 10 minutes to do, which is why I wanted the other camera because it was faster, and all that kind of stuff. But I realized that by cutting out that process, even though I get frustrated sometimes because of my impatience, I focus in on what I'm doing and I just concentrate on that leading up to I'm about to create something dope. Even if it is a client project or something. I'm gonna make this look as dope as possible. You know what I'm saying? They might have a specific layout on how they want their video, but how I light it, how I want it to flow is all on me. And so if that's the only creative direction that I have, then fine. I'll leave it at that. If that's all the freedom that I have, then that's what it is. And so, yeah, I'm sorry if I keep looking at the screen. I got actually got radar going over here because I'm tracking these storms. If y'all don't know, I also have a new hobby that I feel is therapeutic, and that is I am a storm chaser. Um, eh, yes, it's therapeutic for me. Okay, and I'll go more into depth about it as I create videos because that's what I'm not doing it to, for any type of scientific data or whatever. I'm doing it. Um, I want to merge the art that I create already with the storm chasing and the storms and all of that. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So let me cut the radar off. I'm sorry. I need to cut that off. It's distracting me. Okay, there we go. All right. So, but yeah, man, art. It's therapy, y'all. Creativeness is therapy. That process of creating is therapy. So just try it. But you didn't have a bad day, man. Just you know what? Don't even go to the dollar store. Grab a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper and draw something. You don't have to be able to draw a lick. I can't draw to save my life. But just do it. Just concentrate on that. I'm telling you, it makes a difference. I promise you. If it don't make a difference, man, y'all hit me up and tell me, cuss me out, say, bro, it didn't work. You stupid. Stop talking. Whatever you want to say. But I'm telling you, I think it'll work. But all right, man, that's my time. I told y'all I'm going to be before y'all long tonight. I am going to start jumping on here a lot more, going live on. And this is really not my normal setup. I'm using a different program today than what I normally use because I hadn't gone live in so long. I've got to renew everything and do all of that, and I just didn't have time tonight to do it. So, but I'm going to start going live more on Facebook, on YouTube. Listen, I need y'all support, man. Go over to YouTube, Daylight Media Concepts. Make sure y'all subscribe to that, man. Even if the content there is mostly filmmaking and videography type content. So even if that's something you're not interested in, these live streams for the Artist Loft are also live over there. So you can go over there and check out, past episodes of the Artist Loft and all of that. And I'm going to create a playlist to make it easy to find. And I'm going to listen, y'all. I'm giving in, man. I'm going to turn into the TikTok guy, man. I'm going to be the TikToker. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, let me tell y'all something real quick. Just to be honest, at 48 years old, sometimes I feel stupid when I post to TikTok and Snapchat. Like I don't know what it is. It's just in my mind, those are for younger folks. And when I post to them, it's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, this is stupid. You look dumb on here. Stop doing it. But I think I'm gonna start posting to TikTok more, man. I still do not know how to use Snapchat. I'm trying to learn. I keep asking folks to teach me. Won't nobody teach me. It's all good though. Bump y'all. Y'all ain't gotta teach me. I'm gonna learn. I love y'all though, but bump y'all. All right, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all get ready and hunker down for these storms. They're supposed to be kind of bad. It looks like some of the heavier stuff was pushing kind of north, but we still gonna get clipped and probably get hit. So just be careful, man. Y'all be easy, and I will catch you in the next live. I don't know when that'll be, so don't hold me to it. I will be going live this Sunday with the 4 black guys. Those other 3 elderly gentlemen that I do a podcast with. We will be going live Sunday. So be on the lookout for that 4 black guys show. All right, man. Y'all be easy. Peace out.
You know what I'm saying? Ha 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 ha. Hands held high, raise them up to the sky. Never let them low. Only thought